On this episode of the Handicappers, we talk UFC 210, our fight predictions, our bets, and how you can make some money.
Let's check it out.
Welcome everybody to this episode of the Handicappers. We're going to be going over UFC 210, Daniel Cormier versus Rumble Johnson, the rematch. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, I know. I think it's going to go a little different than the first time. I'm pretty excited about it as well.
Yeah, we got some good cards for you tonight, some good fights. We're going to go through a couple of them.
Yeah, there's going to be some we're going to skip over just due to time. But also, too, before we get into this, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the page.
Please, everybody, show some love. We will definitely show it back. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, like he said, we're going to go over, the fan favorite fights for sure. But for time purposes,
and some of our picks, there's going to be some fights that we're not even going to bet on and people you probably don't even know about, so we're just going to skip over it, again, just to save some time. So the first fight, let's go over Emmett versus Green.
So Josh Emmett versus Desmond Green. It'll be Desmond Green's first fight in the UFC. Josh Emmett, he's a spectacular 10-0 so far.
Well, dude, it was funny because his first fight, he filled in on like a 1 week notice against John Tuck. And John Tuck, he's been in the UFC for quite a while. And Emmett,
he's a good fighter too.
Well, dude, for the first 2 rounds, dude, Josh Emmett was giving it to him. And Tuck, he looked a little shook. You know what I mean? And then going into that third round, John Tuck won that round because Emmett broke his hand in the end of the second. So Emmett was fighting with one hand and still won the fight.
Yeah,
very decisively.
Yeah, that was definitely a good fight. Josh Emmett, I thought he did enough to win, and I thought he looked good for his first fight for sure. And then he beat Scott Holtzman. Desmond Green, he's training with the Black Zillions.
Yeah, they have it on here as something different, but we researched it. It is the Black Zillions. Desmond Green is a wrestler. He's very explosive, athletic, but from what I saw from the film, he's a solid wrestler for about 1 round. And if he doesn't beat you after that first
gas out a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's that athletic build, very muscular. Yeah. And if he doesn't get you after that first round, it's not that he gives up, he gets gassed, but he is relentless with the takedowns. The cool thing about Josh Emmett though is he trains out of Team Alpha Male up in Northern California with Uriah Faber and all the wrestlers up. That's a wrestling camp, I think we can all agree on.
For sure.
So he's got all the wrestlers up there, and Scott Holtzman was a wrestler that fought. His previous fight was Scott Holtzman. Scott Holtzman is a sound wrestler over at the Lab over in Glendale, Arizona, and I mean he did phenomenal against Holtzman, and I feel like he's gonna have Josh Emmett's gonna have the technique. Dude, his footwork's phenomenal. I don't know if you saw his footwork before.
Yeah, I think he's looking good at this point. I think they're trying to give this to him just kind of as a stepping stone and give Desmond Green a solid fight since he is training at a respectable camp as his first fight. So I think it's a good matchup. I'm definitely favoriting Emmett here. I think Emmett's going to be able to show what he's learned in the UFC so far. That 10-0 record, I think, is going to come to show.
100%, yeah, because Desmond Green, with these guys who are having their first fight, usually you do tend to see an adrenaline dump. And I think we will see that this time, and I'm going to go with Josh Emmett for the win on that one.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into our next fight, Jan Blachowicz versus Patrick Cummins. I like this fight. It's a typical striker versus grappler fight. Patrick Cummins being an Olympic wrestler, and then he's been in the UFC for a while. Obviously, he has had kind of a patchy career in the UFC.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, he wasn't doing too bad. Obviously, he lost to Daniel Cormier, took the fight on short notice. He was Daniel Cormier's former training partner in the Olympic team. And yeah, he was actually not doing too bad until he got knocked out. Well, who knocked him out? After Ovin St. Preux knocked him out, he's tended to get knocked out ever since. His chin is very spotty.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from Cummings is his striking is just really non-existent. Even when he's blocking, if you hit him, if you hold your hands up, if you hit him and he hits you, and even if it doesn't get through and it hits you, he still gets a little dazed. And it's almost as if he's very inexperienced with the strikes. He freezes up. He doesn't know what to do. And his really only game plan is to take you down.
Yeah, well, I actually just watched the fight with Glover Teixeira, and he was very successful with the takedowns. He was able to continue to take him down. However, he wasn't able to really do anything once it got there. Teixeira immediately got up.
Teixeira black belt jiu-jitsu, though, so obviously.
Absolutely, no, I get that. And so it wasn't a scrub on the ground, but he wasn't able to really get his game plan off, and he continued to take shots, and you could tell that he was really not liking the stand-up, was not liking getting hit. And Jan Blachowicz does pack power.
I mean, with Patrick Cummins, if you're getting knocked out by one of the Nogueira brothers in this day and age, obviously Obviously, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
there.
no, he's getting knocked out by older fighters at this point, so it's showing that it doesn't take too much power. And Jan Blachowicz does have power.
Yes.
He knocked out Latifi in the first round. And since then, he does have powerful strikes.
And Blachowicz losses are to respectable people. They're not like to nobodies, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Manoa,
Alexander Gustafsson,
Corey Anderson. I mean, all three of those solid fighters, contenders today. Yeah, all three of them are solid contenders today.
So the only concern I have with Blachowicz is, if this fight goes a distance, the takedowns are points. You know what I mean? That does go into consideration.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, if Patrick Cummins were to win, I think it would be by decision. I think we'd be able to continuously take him down, just rack up the points.
But I think due to the striking, and I'm hoping that Jan Blachowicz can probably just knock him out in the first round. With the power, and I'm going to go with Jan Blachowicz.
I think it'll be an early knockout. I think Blachowicz' power is going to be a little too much for Cummins.
100%.
And I'm going to go by knockout.
Yeah, me as well.
All right, the next fight we're going to go over is Kamaru Usman versus Sean Strickland. This is an interesting fight. Again, that grappler versus striker. Usman has been showing great.
Kamaru Usman trains over in Florida with the Black Zillions. Anthony Rumble Johnson's training partner. A lot of people don't know this. The way he got his start in mixed martial arts was he was an NCAA wrestler, went on to be the strength and conditioning coach for the Olympic team for a lot of the wrestlers up there. Got teamed up with the Black Zillions as their strength and conditioning coach, and then became a fighter and has just been killing it. He won the Ultimate Fighter in what year? 2015, and ever since then, it's just been dominant.
Undefeated since then. He's won 3 fights in a row. Looking real good. Sean Strickland is also 18-1.
Yeah, he's
but
very
as we
good.
had just stated, his last fight with Tom Breeze,
we
actually
thought
thought Breeze won that fight.
It was a split decision. It was a very bad decision. Tom Breeze was tuning him up that entire fight.
I think stylistically, Usman's going to apply a little bit too much pressure. Strickland likes to be stretched out, keep the distance, and land a lot of jabs, crosses. He's a very distance fighter. Usman, I think, is going to have enough in the tank to continue to push the pace the whole fight, be in his face, and I think that'll cause some problems.
And here's another thing I think we have to take into consideration. So Sean Strickland's is basically his style is kickboxing, right? So they obviously like the distance. Pressure is not their friend because then they can't get off those kicks. The other thing is, we know that guys that tend to kick a lot do get taken down by wrestlers.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And Usman takedown is unreal. I mean, dude, his takedown is 5.25 takedowns a fight. That's insane for stats.
Real active with the takedowns.
Yeah, and also too, when he takes you down or has you against the cage, he's not just holding for position. He's active. He's always hitting you. Yeah. He's always hitting you. He's always in your face.
And that's how you win fights, man. He throws a lot of volume.
And he doesn't slow down. Yeah. He can do that for the full 3 rounds. I've seen him do it. Yeah. All 3 rounds, just that same pace, just intense, in your face, doesn't stop. I think that's going to be a problem for Strickland. I'm going Kamaru Usman. I'm going by decision.
Yeah. No, that fighting style is perfect for decisions. I mean, you just keep it going and you leave no doubt in the judge's mind. Yeah. So I'm going to go by Usman as well by decision. Mm-hmm. Next fight, we got Miles Jury versus Mike De La Torre.
Is that how you say it? Is that the correct way?
De La Torre?
De La Torre? I will figure it out.
Okay, you know what I mean? That's what we're calling it today. So we got Miles Jury, who's looked solid in the UFC. His only loss to Charles Oliveira and Donald Cerrone, both respectable losses.
Exactly, yeah.
Beat Diego Sanchez, Takanori Gomi. I mean, so he's already Michael Johnson. Those are solid fighters that he's beat. He has solid jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Also has a couple knockouts. So definitely a good fighter. And then you got Mike De La Torre, who I haven't been too impressed with so far.
No, he's
had very spotty.
Not even spotty. He's just been losing. He only won 2 fights.
He's only won, he won 2 out of 6 fights. One of them was overturned because Brian Ortega tested positive.
Yep.
But he still submitted him first round. So I think De La Torre is going to have trouble with Jury. I think that Jury will be able to get some shots off, land a couple takedowns.
Yeah, I would say Miles Jury is probably your safest pick on the card. I mean, I think everywhere at this game set he's better. I almost feel like because he's coming off 2 losses that the UFC's kind of just like, hey, here's one to get back on your feet.
Yeah, exactly. And the UFC will do that a lot. Strategically, they'll place fights if they want some guy to succeed, and that's just
there
how
was
the
a lot of
business
hype
goes.
with Miles Jury when he first started fighting. A lot of people thought he was going to be a top contender, and he was coming up and just beating everyone.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the comeback for Miles Jury. I'm going Miles Jury, and I'm actually going to go by TKO in the second.
I'm going to take it by submission. I think it might.
That could happen. That could happen just as well. Yeah.
All right, into our next one. Starting the main card, we got Will Brooks versus Charles Oliveira. Yeah. I love this fight. I think it's a solid fight.
Yeah, I always get nervous when I watch Will Brooks fight. In the UFC, I haven't been that impressed with Will Brooks. There was a lot of hype with him.
super athletic though, man.
100%.
Like, ridiculously.
No, I know he is, but like there was a lot of hype him, and every fight he's been in, like he's been put in really bad situations.
Yeah, no, but
he's coming off a loss.
Dude, I just like how he fights, man. He throws a lot. He's always going for takedowns. Kind of like that Usman style, just in your face, always going. Charles Oliveira has also been struggling lately.
That's true.
A big jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's gotten tapped out in his last 2 fights, I believe, right?
Yeah. And he got tapped out by Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis has solid jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but not all, it should not be at Oliveira jiu-jitsu level.
But people always sleep on Pettis' jiu-jitsu, and that's how he got the belt.
That's true. He tapped out black belt Ben Henderson.
Yeah.
You know
So, I mean, I think people sleep on his jiu-jitsu, but Charles Oliveira, even if that's your bread and butter, you shouldn't be getting submitted.
100%. Yeah,
so
I agree.
that's definitely a bad sign.
I mean, he's going back up to his normal weight class, so hopefully he fights a little better. But I will say this. He's coming off losses. I don't know what's going on with this guy in his head. Will Brooks probably is the more sound fighter. He's obviously the safer bet in this fight.
I think Charles Oliveira has the better ground game, and that might be trouble because Will Brooks is more than likely going to look for some takedowns.
Yeah.
But I think stand-up-wise, Will Brooks has the advantage. I think he's just going to be the bigger man in there.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to take Will Brooks via TKO.
Well, also too to put in consideration though, Charles Oliveira does have the reach, and as far as the bigger guy, they're the same height.
Slight reach, 2 inches. I don't think Will Brooks will have too much to overcome there with the reach and the slight height advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the safe pick and go Will Brooks on
Will
this
Brooks
one.
as well.
I'm gonna actually go by decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Stepping into our next fight, we got Thiago Alves versus Patrick Cote. Solid fight here.
Haven't seen Patrick Cote fight in a while.
Yeah, 2 big veterans. They've been in the game for a long time. In between the 2 of them, I mean, you got years and years of fighting.
Yeah.
Thiago Alves, neither of them have looked too hot as of lately. He just lost to Jim Miller not too long ago.
That was a fun fight though to watch.
Yeah, no, because they're both real active fighters. Thiago Alves he's the type of guy that's gonna be looking for a fight.
Yeah,
he wants to throw.
Kicks. Yeah,
he wants to throw those hands. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna meet in the middle of the octagon, looking to let him fly. Patrick Cote, he actually was on a solid run until he ran into Donald Cerrone.
Yeah.
So he's not looking too bad.
I honestly, in this fight, like Patrick Cote, I think, like you said, he had a little bit more of a. He's been more active than Thiago, that's for sure. And also too, I when I watch them fight, I feel like Patrick Cote is a lot smarter, and Thiago Alves does like debate. And I've seen Patrick Cote do get in those brawls before. Don't want to do that with Thiago Alves, but I think Patrick Cote is going to know that going into this fight. I'm going to go Patrick Cote, and I'm going to call this one probably by decision as well.
Yeah, I like Cote. This one I'm kind of up in the air. I actually haven't even picked one on this one.
Really?
Because it's just so close. Like, and it's hard with these ones where I don't think either of these guys are going to be fighting for the belt anytime soon.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really pick a clear-cut winner here. I will give the edge. I think Alves will be able to draw Cote into his fight.
I don't think Alves, the brawl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think Alves is necessarily the better fighter.
Has done that.
But I think he'll be able to get Cote away from his game plan, and then I think Alves will be able to.
Are we disagreeing right now?
Yeah, so I'm going to take Alves by decision. I don't think it'll be anything drastic. Into our next one, though. The co-main event of the evening.
If there's been one fight that's like been giving me nightmares because like I've been so back and forth, it's this one. It's this fight. Chris
Weidman, former UFC champion, versus Gegard Mousasi, I think future UFC top contender. So, Chris Weidman coming off 2 losses, hasn't looked too tough as of lately since he lost his belt.
Well, here's the thing. I've never been like...
Never bought into the hype with Weidman.
I never got bought into that. I watch him fight, and he just looks not very technical on the feet. It looks slow, very robotic.
I don't think he has great stand-up. I mean,
no, his wrestling's phenomenal.
One way to win this fight.
Phenomenal.
He has to continue to take down Gegard Mousasi, hold him there, and not get submitted.
So, yeah, here's the thing. If it's a straight striking match, I think Gegard pieces him up. Obviously, Gegard's got to move to the left and keep the distance, and just keep that jab going to keep the distance, and be careful with the kicks. Gegard likes to kick a lot. I have seen that against these high level wrestlers. You can't kick that much. You have to rely on your boxing because when you kick too much on those wrestlers, they will shoot for those.
Yes, but Gegard does have good hands. One thing I will say about Gegard is sometimes he gets in these weird moods where he doesn't like to throw as much. He gets real inactive.
Well, because he gets it's almost like
tentative.
If he gives you everything and it doesn't do nothing, he's like, oh shit.
I've seen him do that and then start to pull his punches, not land as much. And I think that's a recipe for disaster for Chris Weidman, because if he's not going to throw volume, I think Chris Weidman's going to continue to push forward.
Yeah, Chris Weidman, even though I've never thought of him as that talented as far as UFC championship material, he is relentless and he does have heart.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely has a good amount of heart.
He's going to be the bigger, stronger guy as well.
For sure.
I think Weidman is going to be much stronger than Mousasi, so Mousasi's got to stay moving and really just piece him up.
I think it really depends on what Mousasi we see here. I think the best form of Mousasi beats Weidman. I agree. I think his striking will be too much for Weidman to overcome. Weidman's coming off of a brutal knockout from Yoel
And
Romero.
Weidman's not really respecting him. Weidman's been very open, like saying that Mousasi doesn't even deserve to fight him, which is real aggressive. Coming off 2 losses, real aggressive for sure. Calm down.
He thought it was a drop in. He said, "I've always fought the best in the world, and now I'm fighting Mousasi." It's like Mousasi's right there, dude. He's
I almost
top
wanted
5.
to be like, dude, you fought a bunch of old, like retired veteran,
yeah,
Brazilians.
Yeah,
like for sure. Calm down.
I don't think he is as good as he's trying to make it out. Like, I've always been the best. I mean, you beat.
It's weird to hear him talk like that because he's normally the nice guy.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to hear him like that. I think Mousasi's going to be a little bit too much for him. I'm going to take Mousasi.
Dude,
TKO.
Before we go into the next fight, real quick, think about this, and this is why I picked Mousasi as well by TKO. You can't sit there and discredit Mousasi. He was saying stuff like, oh, yeah, he was a Strikeforce champ, but that's not the same thing as being a UFC champ. Mm-hmm. Let's hold the cards there. Let's look at our champions. DC, former Strikeforce champion. Mm-hmm. Ronda Rousey, former Strikeforce champion. Tyrone Woodley, he was a Strikeforce fighter. Or even our contenders were Strikeforce fighters. You look at Ronaldo Souza, mm-hmm. Or what's his face who just beat Weidman.
Yoel Romero.
Yoel Romero. Rockhold fought in Strikeforce.
He was a champ, wasn't he?
Yeah, like most of our top 1 or 2 contenders or champions were Strikeforce fighters.
Yeah, but that's given since the UFC acquired Strikeforce, right?
Yes, but what I'm saying is you can't sit there and be like, oh, he's a Strikeforce champion. That's different from a UFC champion when most of the Strikeforce champions became the UFC champions.
True
you know
enough.
What I'm saying?
No,
so
I
think you should definitely show him some respect.
Yeah, no,
it's something I thought about a lot.
Musasi's definitely a solid fighter. I think he's going to be too much. I mean, 49 professional fights, that's a lot. Chris Weidman himself only has 15.
Yeah. I mean, he's got more wins. Mousasi's got more wins by knockout than Chris Weidman does fights overall. So
yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of fights. So we're both in agreement there. Yeah, Mousasi. This next fight I've been waiting for this fight for so long.
I have so much I want to say about it. Hey, I'm just gonna be real. We're gonna take some time on this fight. We're gonna talk about this fight more than the rest. I am so excited.
This is what I'm gonna do. The championship fight.
This is what we should do here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let you talk, and I'm not gonna interrupt because there's so much we both want to say. Yes. And then I'm gonna talk.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit back and listen. I want you to just tell everyone what you're thinking.
All right. So for the light heavyweight championship, we got, of course, the current champion Daniel Cormier versus Rumble Johnson. Daniel Cormier being the current champ, he's only lost to one fighter, John Jones, and I think he's learned so much since that fight. His fight with Rumble, I think he was able to overcome because these guys already fought before. Cormier was able to tap him out. I think he was able to learn how to go through the strength that he had to deal with. He got hit with a couple hard shots, and then with Gustafsson, he had a huge war. And then with this last fight, he just fought Silva. Silva was kind of, was a middleweight, an older middleweight instead of, a light heavyweight. So he had an easier fight there. But then you got Rumble Johnson. And since that loss against Daniel Cormier, he has looked nothing but unstoppable. All first round, one second round knockout, and then the rest were first round knockouts. His power is unparalleled. I think he's the hardest hitting fighter in the UFC.
I agree.
Bigger than any heavyweight. I think he's the hardest hitting guy. I think he's the scariest guy. I think he has the scariest striking. And it just comes down to, again, it's that grappler versus striker. Can Cormier hold him down? Can Rumble keep the fight standing? I think it's clear if Rumble keeps the fight standing, Daniel Cormier does not win this fight. If Daniel Cormier is able to unleash and continue to put him against the cage and take him down and slam him, pick him up, I think he'll win the fight. I think he could even submit him again. But I got to go with Rumble, man. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think that Rumble's going to be able to stop the takedown. I've seen him in interviews, and he just seems so disappointed in his performance the first time. I don't think that he had the right game plan. And if you remember, he fought on a short notice in that fight.
Did
he? Yes. So he's had 2 full fight camps because Cormier pulled out of the first one because of injury. So now he has had 2 full fight camps to prepare for this guy. I think he's going to be ready for the takedowns, keep it standing up, and I think he's going to knock him out in the first 2 rounds.
All right. So here's the thing. Obviously, the key to victory for Daniel Cormier is going to be to get this fight to the ground and be relentless with the takedowns. Because DC's not even remotely DC does not want to stand with Johnson, right? That would be a disaster. And when I watch Anthony Rumble Johnson, oh man, no matter who he fights, I'm so scared for them. Like dude, when he hits you, it's not like just a knockout. Like your soul leaves your body and enters another dimension. Like you're not there anymore.
He's the scariest guy in the world.
Like if
right
they
now.
were like, hey Vin, we'll pay you to fight Anthony Rumble Johnson $1 million, I'd be like, I'm a pass because I'm probably gonna die. Like that guy, he's just so scary. But anyways, here's the key to victory for Anthony Rumble Johnson. He needs to obviously stay active, stay circling, but he needs to be calm. Right? He can't when he gets him calm or he gets him with a good shot, he can't just freak out and just brawl in on DC like he did the first time.
That's how he'll get taken down.
Well, what happened was he was going in on DC, had him rocked, and he was going in on him with wild hooks. And I don't know if you saw this, but I watched it in slow motion. DC blocked, dropped, and went under one of his hooks and took the back and took him down. Okay, yeah. So what Anthony Rumble Johnson needs to do if a situation like that arises is he needs to pick his shots, his 1-2s, and be in. And also too, something that I saw another commentator saying is you'll see Anthony do this in a lot of fights. He'll put his hand on you and strike where the hand is, obviously for hand placement. And he needs to do that. Just be calm. You know, with Anthony Rumble Johnson, it only takes 1 punch, so you don't need to throw a million wild swings. Be calm and pick your punches. And even if he's rocked, if you just get one more in there, that will finish him with your power.
And just to add to what you're saying, when he fought Phil Davis, he rocked him a couple times, but instead of just rushing in, he understood that Phil Davis was a better wrestler.
It's funny that you bring that up. I was literally about to bring it up. To Kamuela, we were just talking about I brought up the Phil Davis fight out there as well. So same game plan. Phil Davis is a wrestler. He doesn't want to get taken down. So what does he do? He keeps moving and circling, and he threw his great combinations, but he was very calm. He didn't explode too much or go too wild, and he didn't get gassed the whole fight. Yeah. That's the key to victory: staying calm and not getting gassed and not getting too excited. That is what lost him in the last fight. I do think he learned that mistake. I'm sure his coaches have already told him that, and I'm sure he's been working on his wrestling ever since then. Not that it's going to be at the level of Daniel Cormier's, but what I would like to see from Anthony Rumble Johnson is throw the punches. Don't throw the kicks as much. Let's be careful with that. I don't want you to get taken down. And also, to just keep the distance and be calm, cool, and collective. Is it collective? We were just talking about
Collected.
Collected. That's what it is. Calm, cool, and collected. I got to correct myself sometimes. So anyways, I'm going to go with Anthony Rumble Johnson, and I'm going to go by TKO in the 3rd.
Are you taking 3rd? I think within the first 2. I don't think Cormier is going to be able to take these shots.
So now that
awesome card, guys.
Yeah, it's a good card. Now that we went over the card, let's go over the picks.
We'll go straight into our safe picks of the night. We're going to take first and foremost the first fight we went over, Josh Emmett versus the UFC newcomer.
I feel like you have to take this.
Yeah,
fight.
I think that's a solid fight. Yeah. I think he's definitely gonna win, and then we got Kamaru Usman.
We're gonna go Usman
to beat Strickland. I think it's a good stylistic fight.
Very good, yeah.
And then Miles Jury.
Dude, he started at a -240, and now he's at like a -340.
Yeah.
So that was within hours.
Yeah, Vegas is pumping his odds up because they think he's gonna win for sure.
Yeah.
And then you got Miles Jury. We're gonna take him over.
Miles Jury for sure. So those are our 3 safe picks. Again, we're going Usman, Miles Jury, and Josh Emmett.
And just so you guys know. What something like that pays out. So you put 100 on that,
you win 130. So you're getting slightly over 1-to-1 on your odds, which we know in the betting community is phenomenal. You're getting over 100% return on your money. Your stocks ain't doing that for you. So that's
and I feel real confident about this one, guys. Our safe picks hit last time. I think this is another one where our safe picks are gonna hit.
Yeah.
And we're taking really safe picks for you guys here. We're not gonna make it too drastic for our
risky parlay.
We're gonna have a little fun with it because there's a lot of big name fighters on here. We're both real confident. We're gonna take John Blachowicz first and foremost against Patrick Cummins.
Yep.
We think he's gonna land that big shot against him. And then we got we're gonna put Gegard Mousasi in there over Chris Weidman.
And we're taking Anthony Rumble Johnson. Let's go.
The big man. And so let's say you put $50, $25 on it. $25
wins you 300.
$300, just $25. It's $25.
Yeah,
you know.
if you're feeling ballsy or your bankroll is a little bigger, and you're gonna throw 50 on there, you win, almost 600. So.
Or you know what? If you put 500 on it, you win almost $6 grand. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so and then I think for the pick of the night, I think Miles Jury is the safest pick of the night. If you want to just bet one fighter,
is that what we're gonna go with? Yeah, Miles Jury for the pick of the night.
But also too, this is one of those scenarios where we decided that was our pick of the night before the lines came out, and now looking at the lines. He's like a minus, 400, 500. Yeah. So you obviously don't want to just bet that one fight. Take the safe picks. Play the risky if you want for fun. Don't be the guy that just places the risky and the safe picks hit and the risky don't.
We've been getting a lot of text and comments to be like, "Oh man, we're so close," and it's like, "What?
What are you talking about?" I'm like, we won. What do you mean? He's like, "Oh, I did the risky." I'm like, again, you put your 20% of your bankroll on the safe pick. So if you hit, that's a phenomenal come up, and then you put a little bit of literally a fraction of what your bankroll is
just for fun.
For fun. Because if you hit and you make 300, 400, 500, even in some cases I've won thousands on those. That's great, but if you lose, it's like $25. Who cares? You don't even think about it,
Yeah. So that's it for you guys, man. We just wanted to present the fights for you. Awesome card. I hope you guys are gonna check it out on Saturday. We're both real excited. Yeah, let's make some money, man. Let's have some fun.
Let's go on a 2-fight win streak. Let's do it. Let's go.
Do it. All right, guys.
Have a good night.